You know what I mean?
What I'd probably do is I'd pot it, stud it, and play a long black down there.
Yeah.
That's what I would probably do.
Yeah. But obviously the proper shot to screw down in, to land on it in there, for you to get that cue ball in that sort of area, because of the way that you cue up to the ball. Yeah. If that's the right, is that the right angle for it? You need to maybe go a little bit straighter, maybe. You know what I mean? To get it down, and the way that I would play it would be a little bit more, just a little bit slower. It doesn't mean I would get any less reaction. I'm just going to play it a little bit slower, just so I can feel more control with it. So I'm still going to cue up exactly the same. But what I'm doing is I'm still getting the reaction on the cue ball, but I can feel the shot a lot more because I'm stopping and I'm sort of imagining, if you know what I mean, what's happening. Where with yours it's a little bit, because it's all so quick. One time you might hit the cue ball there, and another time you might get really, really low. If you know what I mean. And I appreciate you're going to have days when you're playing well and you're sort of finding that, but consistently to get there. That you have to just slow everything down, because then you can mean it more, if you know what I mean. You can sort of feel what's going on. Now if we just move on to cue action, which is something which I think everyone sort of tampers with from time to time, including all of the top snooker boys. I mean, I know quite a few of them, and they all just they change the cue actions like the weather, some of them. And I think the fundamentals of a cue action is you need to have a pause, like I've just been explaining, to get the reaction on the cue ball. There has to be a pause, whether the pause on the ball, but there has to be a pause at the top of the backswing, which allows you to get the reaction on the cue ball. Without the pause, which is a bit like how Chris cues up, because without a pause at the top of the backswing, it's hard. For one, it's hard to get the distance control. So like I was just trying to explain there with the screw shot, it's hard to work out that distance without a pause at the top of the backswing, because it's just hard to know how far you're screwing back and how far you're not screwing back. Because if it's like this, let's say I want to screw back close to this pocket, well, everything's slow, pause, back in the pocket. Without any pause, see how it's all like, it's all very like rushed and just, you know what I mean? Where it was no different how I played it the first time. In fact, I got more reaction the first time and I hit it softer. It's just, you've just got more control. So you need to have a pause at the top of the backswing. Now, when you're queuing up, certainly when you're playing a power shot like this, you have to come off the cue with your hand at some point. So, for example, Ronnie O'Sullivan would come off the cue with his front couple of fingers as he pulls the cue back. He releases his front few fingers very slightly, and then as he drives through, he grips it. Someone like John Higgins, and the way I would cue up is I release the back. So you either release the front or you release the back. I would cue up to that. If you watch my backhand and forget the shot, obviously if I'm playing to hit this hard, I'm coming to there. See how my hand's released? It's released off the cue, and as I drive through, grips again.
It's more natural at the back.
Yeah, it's more natural. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Because your thumb and index have got hold.
Because they've got hold of it, and then you're just slightly releasing off. So I'm there. Look, come back. Because if I kept it tight, well, I can only pull back to there because my wrist is hurting now. Because my back fingers are on. Look, so I can't really pull it back any further because I just physically can't. So something's got to come off the cue to get the power. So there, look, comes off. I'm not gripping it really tight with this. It's just nice and loose. And then as I come forward, drive. Now I'm back on then. Now I would always say just release the back. Just release the back a little bit. So it's almost like this happening. You're doing that. Not quite to that extent, but that's what's happening. You know, perhaps more like that. But to get that timing and to get that power, it has got to come off the cue. Now whether it came off, if I did it like this, I took my front fingers off that time. But either way, to get that power, to get that, or else I'd literally be queuing up and I'm there. I can't pull it back any further because my wrist's hurting now, because nothing's come off the cue. You can see it's straining my knuckles there, look. You can see my knuckles getting white. So that, if that comes off, they don't look. So you've either got to release the back fingers slightly. So I want to have a go.
I will, because I'm tempted to run this pause, which I don't do with the back. So
Yeah.
for the pot then, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to screw this. That's it. The stance is much better now. You still need to have this. You still want this pressing. You still want this guiding against your chest.
Oh, okay.
You don't want it out there.
Right.
You still want a guide of your chest, because as you pull it back, your chest is a guide.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Your hand came off then.
Yeah.
Your hand came off. Do you naturally do that?
Occasionally.
Like if you were playing like that as a big screw shot, let me just play that as you would naturally play it. So you naturally come off.
Too much?
No, you naturally come off. That's fine. You naturally do that. Yeah,
But
then you went back to quite side on then.
Yeah, I did feel that.
You did go back to quite side on.
It's meant to be sort of more there, isn't it?
And one thing I've noticed is you still really steep on the cue. So I flatten your hand out a bit. That's it. See, everything there for me fundamentally looks pretty good. You know, you're standing correct. Your cue. The only thing I would say about your cue action, it's very methodical and like, you know what I mean. Just try and be a bit more natural with it.
Okay.
Just let it, because it doesn't matter if you cue it like this, because then once you pause on the ball, you sort of feel the.
Yeah, it was this. It's what's bizarre is the pause at the front, and then I can see.
Also, what you do is you drive up at the back.
Yeah, I've actually felt that.
You've got a real drive at the back. You know what I mean. You've got a real high. So if you see because your knuckles are quite high. If you just come off your cue a second.
Yeah, this is still quite thing, isn't it? So
So
I flatten my hands.
flatten your hand a little bit, yeah. You need that drop in an inch, I would say.
So it'd be down like that.
Yeah, and you are quite far away from the cue ball naturally there, because you've got a huge distance here from your thumb to the cue ball.
Should be closer.
I would say a little bit closer, there, because now you've got less room for error.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You've got less room for error now because you've got less cue going through. So I'd say go a little bit closer, flatten yourself off slightly. With you, it's like really little, because you know you've got quite good fundamentals. You know, you stand right, you cue up. It's just your cueing's very like,
Yeah,
it's like a little bit robotic. See, again, you've gone back to being miles away from the cue ball there.
Naturally, I've taken my hand back.
You've naturally taken your hand back.
The ball, I noticed as well. My hand was way far back from the ball.
Yeah, you see, like what Mark Salby did, because he used to be far away from the cue ball and he had too long a backswing.
Right.
So all he did with that was he just pushed his hand a little bit further to the cue ball.
I do feel my backswing's too far.
Yeah, your backswing. Well, it's too long and it's too high.
Yeah.
So as you're coming up, you're coming up too high. I'm not saying coming up isn't the right thing. A slight raise, but not like up there. And you were too. You know, I mean, this is how you are. You're back here like this. You're high. This is how you look. You're high like that. You're this far away, and then you're like this. And as you come back, you're like this.
Yeah, I actually did feel when for the pause. I think that's why I didn't like it, because I've always felt.
Yeah,
like
because
unstable,
your back arm's
felt,
right
yeah.
up here. I mean, if I was playing that, my hand would be there, and my cue's flat.
Yeah.
And as it comes back in a straight line. My hand comes off the cue slightly. Look.
Yeah, that's why I've never liked the pause. I've always felt that doesn't feel right timing. So
Yeah.
I move my hand.
Just try it and move your hand. But I think, I think, it's much better. much better. Much
That's
better.
a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
That's between the stance, and I did practice just now doing that. That feels instantly a lot more comfortable. I can sort of feel
Yeah.
the grip on
You
it.
look a lot more. You look a lot better, to be honest, on the cue. Just by changing them two things, you do look at a huge amount better.
Any more time, but I actually feel I could probably go and do that.
You see there, yeah. You see there, you're a little bit close to the cushion, in my opinion, to be cueing like that. There, that's now when I think you need to move your hand around from like that
That's the one.
to that. There. Let your cue still go. That's it. Perfect. That's what.
It feels for
Yeah.
the cushion shot feels
Because you're flat. You're flat then.
and the table, the landscape of the table looks different.
Yeah. Well, you're looking at it from a flatter. You're almost more behind your potting angle, if you know what I mean. You're more, rather than you're looking at the potting angle there. Before you were almost like a bird's eye view of it.
Yeah, it sounds stupid, but the pocket looks an easier target.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's quite nice.
Yeah. And literally just them few things for yourself, I would say, just widen your stance a little bit, bring that foot back slightly, not a lot, just bring it back, widen it, and just slow the cue action down, the pause at the backswing, just move your hand a little bit closer and don't go so high at the back. I think is that with practice would make a huge difference to you. Yeah. 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 If you want to have a game, yeah. Yeah. It's a lot to take in one go, because you're worrying about your stance, you're worrying about your cue action. It's just something which has worked. See, that was a lot slower. That you slowed that down then.
How do you stand on if you're going for a shot, for instance, and it's diagonal on? Do you often come round and look at the shot line? And then go
Yeah, well I do, but that's much better.
I've never seen.
That's much better.
You've never played like this, have you?
No, never.
That's much better.
Because I never used to, and and then I started doing it.
Well, I look at the line of the shot, but the most important thing to look at is the line of the potting angle from where you're playing it from, because it's okay walking around and looking at the potting angle of that yellow,
Yeah.
but you're not actually playing it from here, you're playing it from here, if the cue ball's here, if you know what I mean. So if the cue ball's there, and the yellow's, say, on the spot, or where, yeah, so let's say you're playing this, yeah, so you'd come round and have a look at the potting angle, which is fine, but then at the end of the day you're playing the shot from here.
Yeah, I don't have it looking at the shot angle.
But the angle is the angle from there.
Yeah.
The angle, that's the
For
angle.
some reason, I find that gives me more of an idea, and I then don't often take my eye off the ball from where I've looked.
Yeah,
and
no,
then
that's
step into my shot.
no. I would never personally. I don't. That's where I was looking at on the ball, because no, it's not the same. No, because the ball's there. But the potting angle is what you see from here. So you look at the cue ball to the object ball, and you look at the object ball to the pocket, and that's your potting angle. So I don't really see. Occasionally, if it's really thin or you want to know if something's I'll come round to have a look. But I don't see any value in looking at because you need to sight it from here, because this is where you're playing it. So sight it from here, sight it from now. So look at it like this. Sight it from there, and then you visualise the cue ball onto the object ball, and then the object ball into the pocket, because you can see all three from here.
I've sometimes found if I've got a shot, for instance, I ended up out of position a few weeks ago, and I ended up with a shot like that. And sometimes I find it a good benefit to look at that, because I can see.
Yeah, you can see. Yeah,
but when I stand there, I can still in my head see that line. And I find that's quite valuable for close shots anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of time I used to think, well, if I'm going down, am I just guessing more on instinct? But if I look there, I can give myself.
Yeah, but looking at that potting angle there, and let's try and say there's a little mark on the ball there. So looking at that, thinking,
Yep.
right, that's it. I'm going to stare at that point, because when you come back around, it's a different point. It's a